NewsX World. With that, viewers, we're shifting focus to more news coming in. Syria and Lebanon have held talks in order to develop a security relationship. This is their latest move to put past tensions aside. Lebanon's Interior Minister Ahmed al-Hajar met Syria's Foreign Minister Asad al-Shabani in Bahrain, where both countries were attending the IISS Manama dialogue. According to the Syrian Foreign Ministry, the two sides discussed ways to enhance bilateral cooperation in security and political affairs. The meeting marked another step in improving relations after years of strain. Syria's former leader, Bashar al-Assad, and his regime controlled the area near Lebanon until 2005, while fighters from Lebanon's Hezbollah later joined the civil war in Syria as well. Outstanding issues that remain to be resolved include drug smuggling and the fate of Syrian prisoners in Lebanese jails. Both countries now have new hardships in Lebanon. President Joseph Aoun has taken office earlier this year, while in Syria, President Ahmed al-Shara came to power after a rebel offensive ended the Assad rule in December last year. Both governments have pledged reform and peaceful negotiations and relations as well. A degree of US support is also there, which is key to normalizing relations. In September, Lebanon and Syria had already shown interest in closer cooperation during talks on smuggling and border control. We've also seen statements coming in from the US administration with regards to Lebanon in particular. US's Special Envoy to Syria, Tom Barak, had recently put out a statement branding Lebanon as a failed state as well. With us on the broadcast is Dr. Satoru Nagao, fellow at the Hudson Institute in Tokyo. Thank you so much for taking out time and joining us on Gulf today. We're now discussing talks between Syria and Lebanon. They're looking at resolving all outstanding issues, including, of course, drug smuggling, border control, security issues that are, of course, central to the rift. I wanted to understand from you, there are also talks between Ahmed al-Shara and Donald Trump which are on the anvil. What are your expectations with regards to that?
Because of the civil war in Syria is end, and in this case, civil war in Syria, Hezbollah support former Assad regime, and so they joined the fighting from Lebanon, and this was a problem for the current government in Syria. But at the same time, because of the end of the civil war, they try to reconcile the situation. And that's why they try to seek to overcome the difficulties between two countries, and it is good news. So that's why between the US and Syria, of course, they are removing the sanction and improving the relation that it has happening. So everything is moving from the war to peace is happening in this place, and this is good news anyway.
Indeed, and that's not all. We've also, as I mentioned earlier, seen a statement from Tom Barak, US Special Envoy to Syria, who's branded Lebanon as a failed state. This, of course, comes in the aftermath of the lack of headway being made as far as the disarmament of Hezbollah is concerned. Do you concur with what he said? What do you think is necessary or needed at this point to realize the ceasefire pact that was inked between Israel and Lebanon last year?
Indeed, disarming Hezbollah is very difficult. Firstly, Lebanon's military forces is not strong enough to do that. And secondly, the Hezbollah is the organization not only take care of the military part, but also to take care of many people's lives. So, for example, they organize many stores, banks, many infrastructure to help the people. So that's why it is not easy. to disband this organization, especially the military sector. Of course, Israel attack eliminate leadership and military power effectively, that's true. But at the same time, still some certain number of the people support this organization means that they can rebuild the military power. And so that is the situation. So under current situation, still the Lebanese army is not enough strength to disarm Hezbollah, because Hezbollah's organization is a very strong organization.
All right, so requesting you to stay on with us as we're tracking some other crucial updates. Smoke was seen rising over parts of southern Lebanon, which was filmed from northern Israel as tensions flared along the border. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has warned that Israel would act as necessary if Lebanon failed to stop Hezbollah from rearming, accusing the Iran-backed proxy group of violating last year's ceasefire accord. The Israeli military has stated that it has killed 4 Hezbollah members in recent strikes, with funerals held in Nabateh for 5 men killed over 2 days. Under the November 2024 agreement, Lebanon had agreed that only state security forces would bear arms, requiring Hezbollah to fully disarm. Hezbollah, while pledging to respect the truce, maintains that the disarmament applies only to southern Lebanon and has hinted at potential resistance if the state moves against it. Israeli cross-border strikes, though less frequent, have continued sporadically despite the accord. More news coming in, this time from the United Arab Emirates. Abu Dhabi has hosted a major oil summit hours after the OPEC Plus alliance stated that it would halt further production increases planned in the first quarter of 2026 over concerns of too much supply in the market. The OPEC Plus decision comes as both the United States and UK have implemented new oil sanctions targeting Russia over its war with Ukraine. Earlier, the 8 key members of the OPEC Plus alliance, including Saudi Arabia and Russia, agreed on furthering a slight hike to their oil production. The group has now stated that the 137,000 barrels per day hike will apply from December and remain at that level for the following 3 months, signifying a pause in what had been regular increases since April this year. Dr. Satoru Nagao is still with us on the broadcast. So, interesting decision by the OPEC Plus countries. Of course, this comes as pressure is being exerted by the United States and the UK, EU as well on Russia. What do you make of this pause, and how would this then impact global supply chains?
In the global level, the demand is not so big, but supply is big. So that's why the price of oil is declining in the long run now. So that's why it is natural if the oil supply countries try to reduce the production. But at the same time, you have already mentioned, because of this timing, the US President Trump asked the other country not import from Russia. So in this case, the country who imported oil from Russia need to find alternative source. So view from this country, increasing the oil production is good news, decreasing oil production is bad news. So that's why the oil supply country try to hold a summit to reduce the oil production is bad news. But at the same time, indeed, strong push is exist to reduce the price of oil because of the compare with the demand, the supply is big just now. So that's why anyway this push is relatively strong, even if the countries who imported oil from Russia try to change source of oil. Indeed, still the total amount of the oil is enough. At least some certain number of the experts is expecting indeed.
All right, so with that, I would like to thank you for taking out time sharing your analysis with us on NewsX World. With that, viewers, due to paucity of time, it's a wrap on Gulf Today. More news